Now, I promise that by the end of this video, you're going to understand what's a summons and complaint. But I want you to bear with me because I'm going to try to explain it in a way that I think that will be helpful into really understanding what these two documents do. Now, I want you to picture this. Imagine that you're home one day and maybe you're watching TV or maybe you're on YouTube. Hopefully you're on YouTube watching me, at least by now. And you're having your snacks, you're enjoying your show, and you hear a knock on the door. You hear a bang, bang, bang. And you're startled, you get up, you walk towards the door, maybe your heart's racing a little bit because you're wondering, who the hell just knocked on my door? And you open the door and you see someone standing outside with a package, and you hear those famous words, right? That we hear in the movies, that we hear in TV shows, especially legal dramas and court shows. You've been served. And you're thinking to yourself, what the hell? Why am I being served? I didn't do anything wrong. Why am I in a lawsuit? I didn't do, you're thinking a lot of things in this moment. And I want you to know that just because you've been sued, that doesn't mean that you've lost a lawsuit. All it means is that someone is starting a lawsuit to gain some kind of relief against you. So you take the paper, you close the door, you walk into your kitchen or wherever it is that you go to, and you open it up and you see that you've been served with a summons and complaint. Now, I say summons and complaint because I want you to understand that these are two different documents, right? Let's just start with the summons. What is a summons, right? Imagine this. I summon you here to respond to me, right? That's essentially kind of what's going on here. And you look at this document, and what you're going to notice, you're going to see where it is that you're being sued, right? This is called the venue. You're going to see in what county, what court is this lawsuit being brought in. And you're going to notice the person that's suing you, right? Which is a plaintiff, right? You're going to see who's suing you, who's bringing this cause of action. And then you're also going to see how much time you have to respond, right? Generally, it's 20 to 30 days. But as you know, in most of my videos, none of this stuff is legal advice. So you're going to have to check with your state rules or confer with some counsel, likely in your state. But generally speaking, it's 20 to 30 days to respond depending on how you were served. And you're also going to notice the attorney that's representing the plaintiff on this, right? And you can look them up, see what they're about, etc. And then you get to the complaint, right? You get to the complaint. And when you get there, you're going to see that plaintiff is complaining, right? They're complaining about something. And they're going to assert all sorts of allegations inside of this complaint. Now, really important to know that the complaint it's just a story, right? It's a version of events as to what happened, right? It's the way plaintiff is setting out their claim, which we may call, if you want to be fancy, prima facie case. Some people say prima facie or whatever it is, but it's essentially their allegations on a complaint at face value of what this thing is about. And you're going to see all sorts of things. You're going to see on such and such date, X person did this, and these things that they did constitute this, and I'm seeking X amount of money, or I'm seeking them to stop, whatever the case is. This complaint's going to pretty much lay it out. And you're going to have to respond to this complaint, right? You're going to have to provide an answer, right? An answer is a response to the complaint, right? You don't have to do that. There's other things you can do too. And of course, check with your state rules. But generally speaking, you're likely going to provide a response to their complaint. And you're probably going to say, I didn't do any of these things. Of course, I'm going to respond. I'm going to say I did not do these things. And an attorney, likely in your state, would assert these denials with what plaintiff is saying that they're suing you for. For example, they said that, on X date, you were in control of this space and plaintiff slipped in this space, and you might say deny, right? Your attorney may also assert these things called affirmative defenses, right? And so it's really important that if you get some kind of complaint like this, and you probably want to work with an attorney to figure that out. I'm in no way promoting myself, but I'm just saying, like, you need to do that because if you don't respond to the complaint, there's consequences, right? You can't just take this package that you got at the door from this person, right, and put it on your coffee table and go out and about and forget it even exists, right? This is the kind of thing that you need to take seriously because if you don't take it seriously, that there will be consequences. For example, if you do not respond to a complaint, more likely than not, there's going to be something entered against you in the court, right? Called the default judgment. Right? You say, Kirsten, what is the default judgment? I thought this video was about a summons and complaint. It is about a summons and complaint, but I need to tell you about these things that are lurking in the background of the summons and complaint to help you fully understand, generally speaking, what this thing is about. A default judgment, right? Default judgment essentially means that, well, you failed to respond to the complaint, so the court's going to deem the allegations as true and enter judgment against you based off what plaintiff is asserting inside of that complaint, right? So you're saying, like, if I don't respond, plaintiff wins? Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying here. So you wanna respond to this, right, and deny, because in generally speaking, in most states, if you don't deny or you don't answer a specific allegation inside of that complaint, it's going to be considered true. So again, work with an attorney. I don't care who you find an attorney out there, whether it be in your state, if you're watching in some place other than New York, and work with them to figure out how you're gonna respond, how you're gonna attack this complaint, right, for all that it's saying. And you don't just have to respond. Sometimes you can do something called a motion to dismiss, right? You've probably also heard that on the TV shows. Motion to dismiss, basically saying, right, look, this complaint, and there's a couple of reasons why you would file such a motion, but one common reason why you would file a motion to dismiss is because, well, the complaint fails to state a cause of action. Well, Kirsten, what are you talking about? A cause of action? It fails to plead a case that the court would recognize, right? Generally speaking. And this could be good because, like, you don't have to go further into the litigation, right? You can say, look, judge, look at this complaint on its face, right? Remember that fancy word I used earlier, that prima facie or facie, whatever? It doesn't say a claim that you could provide relief to. Don't even bother with this, right? Get it out of here. Get rid of it. And that's usually a good thing, right? Because it means that you don't have to go spend further money into the litigation, depending on what kind of lawsuit it is. And yeah, it could be pretty much a good thing in that sense. Now, you may be saying, well, Kirsten, somebody could just start a lawsuit against me based off allegations, based off this story, based off no proof. And I'm going to say, yeah, yeah, pretty much. People could do that, right? Because the whole point is to go through a discovery process, right? To reveal the truth, right? To reveal the truth of the allegations in the complaint. And I'm going to talk to you about discovery. If you want me to, I'll make a video on it. I probably will because no one's watching this video. So I'm trying to, gain people and subscribers. So I'll probably just make this video. But if you want this video, please let me know. I will make a video about discovery. You've probably heard of that before. And discovery is a process, right, in which both sides exchange documents, information, they do depositions and stuff, and they ask information relevant to the case, right? Ideally material and necessary to the case. But again, as I make these videos, I hope that I'm providing you some sort of value. If I'm not, please let me know. Like I'll stop, or I'll readjust, or I'll figure things out. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I'm giving something to you of value, not legal advice, but something that you can consider and think about, right? Let me know. Please let me know in the comments if there's a specific topic that you want me to cover. As you'll notice, there's not that many videos on this channel yet. But I kind of want to build this channel based off kind of what the audience wants. So if you're in the audience and you like this sort of stuff, please let me know. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, and yeah, just interact with me just so that I know if all this is being helpful to you. And then that's pretty much it. So remember, just because you get a summons and complaint doesn't mean you lost the lawsuit, right? It means that someone is suing you for some sort of relief and that you should respond to it, because if you don't respond to it, like most things in life, they're going to be consequences. All right. So again, I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.